I'll call to order the Ascension Parish Council meeting for Thursday, May 2nd. If everyone please stand for their prayer and the pledge led by Ms. Sherry Kinchin.
Heavenly Father, we ask you for your guidance over this council tonight as they do the business of Ascension Parish. We ask that you watch over our servicemen abroad and here at home. Give us strength, perseverance. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Sherry. Roll call, Madam Secretary. We have a number of members absent, either for work reasons or being ill or on vacation. Those being Councilman Melanson, Councilman Satterley, Councilman Dempsey Lambert, and that's it. Councilman Turner is now here. Okay. Number 4 is the public comment sign-in period reminder. If you want to speak, please come fill out a comment card and you'll have 3 minutes. And with that, we'll move right into, oh, I'm sorry, I forgot Chair's additions. I do have a couple items to note. We are going to be passing on items 9, 10, and 11 as I had let you guys know via email. We'll bring those up on the next agenda. And with that, we will move to item number 5, which is the Parish President's Report. Mr. President.
Yes, first thing I'm going to ask you to do is we're going to put together a resolution. I've asked Mr. Cluott to go to Washington next week. Since he's chairman of drainage, there is a move underway in Congress that would increase the flood insurance and the flood zones here in all of South Louisiana, and in a lot of cases it would be prohibitive to whereas you could not afford your insurance. I think Mr. Schexnayder owning a camp down in Grand Isle can pretty much tell you what's going on. So there's an organized move with the river parishes, a bunch of other parishes that's affected. And there's some meetings with the congressman next week, and Mr. Cluott has graciously accepted. But I'm going to ask you to pass a resolution. We have I'm not going to read it here, but basically what it does is ask Congress not to pass this law, put it in effect, and that we'll support it, and we'll draft the resolution and have Mr. Cluott bring it with it.
I'll make that motion.
Okay. I have a motion by Councilman Cluott and a second by Councilman Johnson to draft a resolution stating that we are opposed to the
any increase
in the FEMA Flood Insurance Act. Any discussion? Councilman Schexnayder?
Yes, and I want to make sure everyone knows that this is not going to be a not increase in any insurance rate for flood, because there will be increases in insurance rates for flooding and flood insurance. That is inevitable. What we're looking at is part of the Bigger Waters Flood Management Act that they have passed to go into effect in October, is that before, if a person built a home and you met all the regulations and elevation you were supposed to have at the time, and then that was changed and it was upgraded, then you were grandfathered in to be at the same rate of insurance that you would if you were building now above the floodplain. Didn't mean that your insurance wasn't going to go up, but you were going to go up with everyone else that met their obligations. This act has a provision in there that got by all our delegation and everything in Washington that that took out the grandfathering, so that if you built your house and you were made all the regulations now and it was changed, then you would be at a lower elevation, which would substantially increase your flood insurance to get to the point where some people it would be cost prohibitive. And so that's what they're trying to get changed. It's very important, and a lot of people around Louisiana have brought that to attention, and ironically some people in Los Angeles found out they were in the same boat, and their delegation got their area changed. So it's something that is going to be seen all throughout the country. So I think if we bring it to everyone's attention, which they're trying to do, we may get some help on it. So.
And I'm not quite sure an exact number, but I would say about 33% of our parish would be affected. If this happens. So, you know, we need to make sure that we do everything possible that we can to not let this happen. I mean, we got to continue fighting it and continue doing whatever we need to do, because it'll be, I mean, in some areas, if you look at the rates, you know, you talk about $20,000 a year, and then if somebody's got to pay $20,000 a year for flood insurance, if you want to sell your house, you'll never sell it. Who's going to buy it? So, you know, it could affect a lot of people, a lot of people you know. So, anyway, we need to stay on top of that.
Okay.
Next,
hold on real quick. Any other discussion? Councilman Lambert?
When are they moving on this? Anybody knows?
It goes into effect October.
October.
If it's
It's
not,
going into effect.
if
They
it's
already
not
moved on
changed. The law has been passed. It goes into effect in October if they don't modify it. So they're trying
They
to
have to
get that
amend
part
what
of
they
the
passed.
law modified. But
And
that's
we-
how they found out about it.
Okay. Councilman Kluat?
Yeah, and Todd, they do have the ability to modify it.
And who brought this bill to the table? Or was it a,
It was nobody from Louisiana.
Wow.
I can assure you that. Right now, we're looking at about between 19 and 23 parishes
Right.
affected, pretty, decently affected by it. And it's not just us. I mean, there's some
I was
parishes.
just looking at contact people, you know, if we have some contact people that we could, send some emails to, in opposition.
I'll try to get out a list of emails
Okay.
to the people in the different departments that we're going to meet with and all that. And I'll probably also will bring this up again at the drainage on Monday night.
All right.
There's been meetings set up with the entire delegation. So,
Good.
anyway.
I have a motion and a second on the floor. Is there any objection? Motion passes. Randy, thank you for representing us. Mr. President.
The other thing, as you know, this Saturday, we have an upcoming election. It's going to be 3 different things on the ballot, and we want to encourage everyone to go out and vote. There's a renewal for a tax for the Council on Aging. There's a renewal for, I think, 3 different propositions for the school board, and our fire departments are going out for a millage and a parcel fee. Something new, and I just want to give our fire chiefs an opportunity to explain the tax and let people know exactly what it's going to mean to them. So I'll ask Mr. LeBlanc, whoever wants to speak, to come up.
Well, thank you, Mr. President. This Saturday, we have a proposal on the ballot for a question for a 15 mil property tax and a $32 parcel fee residential, $100 parcel fee commercial. This would bring the cost per capita in Fire District Number 1 from $20 a person to about $78 a person. If you look at what the national average is for a fire district or a municipality of our size that protects about 70,000 residents, then that cost is about $150 per capita. So we're going from $20 per capita to about $78 per capita, which we're still about half of the national average. This would allow us to have 2 full-time firefighters in every department around the clock. It would allow us to hire about 36 full-time firefighters with 3 supervisory or shift captains, a district-wide chief, and assistant district-wide chief. You know, if you look at Fire District Number 1, and we just want to make a comparison in Fire District Number 1 to the rest of Ascension Parish, Fire District Number 2 is this side of the river, the west side of the river, and includes Donaldsonville. Protects about 11,000 residents. they have 11 paid firefighters, and they have about 14 or 15 volunteers. If you look at Prairieville, Prairieville protects about 40,000 residents. They have about 14 currently full-time paid firefighters and 28 contract firefighters. If you look at the city of Gonzales, they protect about 10,000 residents. They have over 30 full-time firefighters. If you combine all three of the districts, the other districts in the parish of Ascension, you'll see that they protect about 60,000 residents. Fire District Number 1 protects 72,000 residents. If you add up the number of full-time firefighters in the other three districts, you're about 70 full-time firefighters to protect 60,000 residents, or less than half of the parish. If you add up how many full-time firefighters are in Fire District Number 1, the number is 0. There are no full-time firefighters to protect 72,000 residents. What we're asking for on Saturday, May the 4th, is that you consider putting paid full-time firefighters, at least 2 per department, in Fire District Number 1. I have a few other, let's talk about what happens. This is what happens if the tax passes. If the tax doesn't pass, then we're looking at significant changes to fire protection in Fire District Number 1. This is the reason that the board of Fire District Number 1 brought this before the people at this time. Because over the last 4 or 5 years, the previous administrations had built up a surplus. Over the past 4 or 5 years, they've averaged to spend $320,000 greater than the revenue that they brought in. So they've been spending from the surplus in order to provide fire protection to the district. What that means is the surplus is just about gone. We had a PIL rating this year. They recommended 3 new stations in the district. So by the time you build 3 new stations, you equip them with tankers and engines, the surplus is gone. So what that means is that you'll have $320,000 less to spend on fire protection in the district. Additionally, because they had a surplus, there was not money put aside for equipment replacement. In our study, we figured it would take over $900,000 a year to do proper equipment replacement. Even if you took half of that and you said we can only afford to do half of it, or about half of it, then that would be, say you would put aside $400,000. So you combine that $400,000 with $300,000 that you don't have, so it's $700,000 less you'll be spending on fire protection in Fire District Number 1. The income is $1.6 million. So you're looking at a 40% reduction in spending on fire protection in the district. You guys that have businesses, or you guys that have your home, imagine what steps you have to take if you had 40% less revenues. It's not going to be like it's been, I can assure you of that. Additionally, all the fire districts surrounding us have seen a reduction in homeowners' rates as a result of full-time firefighters. Because of the rating mechanisms, you get a lot more credit for a full-time firefighter than you do a volunteer firefighter. So we've seen in Prairieville, we saw their rating improve from a 5 to a 4. The city of Gonzales, we saw their rating go from a 4 to a 2. Gonzales, or Fire District Number 2, currently has a rating of 4. Fire District Number 1 has a rating of 5. So if you can reduce that rating, or you can keep the rating from increasing, that means about a 10% difference in what your homeowner premiums are. So if we look at this strictly as an economic problem, then the millage will be offset by any savings that you would establish as a result of improved ratings, or your ratings not getting worse. I think, James, I'll be glad to answer the technical question, but I think the thing to take home is that, 1, Fire District Number 1 protects over half the district. We have no paid full-time firefighters. The rest of the parish, 60,000 residents, they have 70. Additionally, things will not be the same. James LeBlanc, Gene Wheatek.
So I'm not going to take up a lot of your time. I think this is one of those things you grow up in life where you got the good cop and the bad cop. Bill's actually the good cop tonight. He's the one explaining to you why it's so important that we pass this in the district. But I'm here to tell you that, you know, this has been an uphill fight. I'm just going to tell you, y'all just got through a couple of months ago dealing with the same thing with your road tax, and I can tell you that we've been on the streets and we've been promoting this thing. If you look at all the negative publicity that's been put out in the community about this fire tax, it's amazing to me that a group of people can spend so much time and so much effort fighting something that is being done by people that do it for nothing. All right? And this is a group of people that tell you that they are Christians and they want nothing but good government. That's what they want. They want good government. But they're out there bashing volunteer firemen that do this for nothing. And I'm here to tell you, if you look at the cards that they've sent in the mail, if you look at the cards that they put on people's doors, if you look at all the business people that they have visited in this parish over the last 3 months fighting a service that we provide for free, that volunteers fight for, the top of that card keeps saying the government wants to take more of your money. Right. And I'm here to make sure that the people of Ascension Parish know, and I'm here to make sure that the council knows, the ladies and the men that fight for everything that we do around here, this ain't got nothing to do with the government. This is all about what the volunteer firemen want. This ain't what the government wants. This is what we want. They've been going across this parish. I'm going to tell you, they've been knocking on doors. They've been dropping flyers off. They've been putting articles in the paper. And everything is about the government, the government, the government wants to take your money. And I'm here to tell the people, I'm hoping that it's on TV so the people of Ascension Parish will know this ain't got nothing to do with the government. This is what we want. We are the ones that are getting up at 2 o'clock in the morning and doing CPR on your mamas and your daddies and your uncles. All right? The people that's on the street fighting us are not the ones that's getting up at 2 o'clock in the morning and doing CPR on your mamas and your daddies and your uncles. It's us. So if the people of Ascension Parish are watching tonight on Channel 21, I'm here to tell you that the volunteer firemen support this. We want it. It's best for the community. We're not worried about our little fire chief positions or nothing like that. We doing this for what's best for the community. Now people are saying, well, you don't have all the volunteers on your side. No, we don't. Because they have been scared for the last 3 months by a group of people telling them that if this tax passes, we're going to get rid of the volunteer firemen in Ascension Parish. Totally 100% false. We are not passing enough money in this community. We're not passing enough money in this parish to get rid of volunteer firemen. All right? So I'm here to answer any questions that you may have. I'm here to crush any rumors that you might hear. And I'm here to tell the people of Ascension Parish that when you go behind that curtain Saturday and you push that button for what's best for your family. All right? You know what you can afford and what you can't afford. But I'm telling you right now, if you go behind that curtain and you push that button on Saturday and you think that the volunteer firemen of Ascension Parish don't want this tax, you're voting for the wrong reason. And that's all I need to say tonight, and I appreciate your support, Parish President. Bill Dawson, I can't thank you enough for all the work that you've done. And I will say, I'll go on record saying that there are 6 volunteer fire departments in Ascension Parish in Fire District Number 1. 5 out of those 6 have endorsed this tax. So yes, we do have one department that has not endorsed it. Ladies and gentlemen, we live in a world where you can't get everybody. And I think that 5 out of 6 is pretty doggone good. So if you got any questions, I'll answer them. If you got any for Mr. Bill, he can answer them. But I'm ready to get Saturday over with, and I think it's going to be what's best for us and what's best for this community.
Thank you, James. Councilwoman Cazzo?
James, I wanted you to elaborate, please, on the number of the percentage of EMS calls that you run as opposed to fire calls, so that people understand that this is about their car accidents and their children at the baseball park when they get hit with a ball. This is about
if I had to put a
public
percentage
safety.
on it, we respond to 80% EMS versus 20% fire. most of our businesses. And look, if you don't never use the fire service in Ascension Parish, you cannot understand the impact that they make. But I'm telling you, there's going to be a time in your life where you're going to need these guys. There's going to be a time in your life when you're going to wake up between the hours of midnight and 6 in the morning, and one of your loved ones is going to be laying on the ground needing CPR. And you're going to call 911. And when you call 911, these are the people that are coming. The ones that are on the street putting those flyers out about save our volunteer firemen, none of them belong to a volunteer fire department. So they have no clue what it means to get up at 2 o'clock in the morning, save somebody's life, and then go to work the next day half asleep because you've been up all night long saving somebody's life. So I would say, Ms. Casso, 80% EMS, 20% fire.
Thank you very much. I think that's a noteworthy number.
Correct. And of course, don't believe me, check the facts. They're there. We put all our reports in Firehouse. You know, the facts are there. Any other questions?
Councilman Kluwat.
Yeah, James, once again, I want to thank you for coming up here, and Bill and Gene and everybody on the board and everybody in the volunteer fire departments. All you got to do is go to a high school ball game, go to a middle school ball game, go to a community function in the rural areas, and you see 100% support by volunteer firemen. I know it was a time back my son was a volunteer fireman. You don't realize, I know what I'm going to have to pay at my house with the tax pass, and by the way, I'm voting for it, and I support you, okay? But the average volunteer fireman, within his first year of being a volunteer, spends more money than that. You know, it hasn't always had money to get resources, to get equipment and things like that. And these guys, y'all gave them a spec. They went out and bought their own. You bought a lot of yours. I'm sure Benny's bought a heck of a lot of his too. You guys have been in it for so long. They just don't realize the passion of what these guys are running on. And I know I live in a rural area. 100% of my council district in District 6 is supported by volunteer firemen right now. And I know the cause. And I know what y'all do. And I know what the other chiefs do in other areas. And thank you very much. I also received some propaganda in the mail with a bunch of lies on it and crap. And that's all it is. You know, I'm like you. If I would hope at some point in their life these folks would probably try to spend their time doing something positive. Thank you.
Anyone else? Councilman Johnson.
James, echo what Randy said. I've grown up in it. I've lived it. Appreciate what you guys do on a day-in, day-out basis. I appreciate you guys getting out in front of this thing and sticking with it, putting up with what you've had to put up with for the last couple months, because it's not easy. And it's exactly what you said. There's people that are out there that don't understand what it takes on a day-in, day-out basis. Not only the fire calls or the EMS calls, but the hundreds of hours on an annual basis that you guys put in. Training, going to meetings, where keeping the business of the fire departments going, fundraising, so you can buy things that you don't have enough money to buy on out, from through the government, what's provided for you through the half-cent sales tax already. I can remember back in the day in 1983 when I joined the fire department, we ran about 35 calls before we started running EMS calls on an annual basis. We picked up EMS calls and it started slowly, but by the time that my work took me away from it a little bit, we were running well over 200 calls a year within a period of about 15 years. That has gone up increasingly. Like you said, you can go back, you can find the numbers, they're there for you. It's not about the fact that you guys aren't performing. You're performing at a higher level. The question is how long can you sustain it? And that's my concern. It's about burnout. It's about, with the population increasing, with the amount of development and everything else we have fixing to come into this parish, that's going to mean more people, more rooftops. Even if it's interim, people that aren't living here permanently, they come in and do the construction jobs. That means more cost. That means more time away from your families, more risk for your lives on the road, as well as fighting fires and those type of things. It takes dedication. It takes pride. You guys have that. We appreciate it. This is a drop in the bucket compared to what the real need is. But you got to start somewhere. You got to start putting something out there that gives the ability to keep up or start to keep up with what's happening. It's deserved. You've earned it, and that's the other thing with it. Like Randy, I will support this. It's one of those things that's close to my heart and always will be. It's kind of like a Marine. You never get out of it full. And every time I get a chance, I talk to the people and let them know where you guys are, what you're doing, and keep up the good work and keep plugging forward. And we're pulling for you.
We appreciate it.
Okay. Councilwoman Kaiser?
James, would you introduce the chief who has joined you so that the citizens of his district know that he is in support?
And just to make sure that the residents of Ascension Parish know that the fire chiefs that fully 100% endorse this is James LeBlanc from Santa Maria. My partner Nat Stevens here from the Gosma community supports it 100%. Ricky Moran Jr. is working tonight, supports it 100% from the 7th District Fire Department. Wayne Hill also just got off of work, trying to rush here right now. He's the Galvez fire chief, supports it 100%. We only have one fire chief. That's not for it. He's new. He's been a fire chief for probably about 2 or 3 months, and it's just a shame that the other side got to him and was able to convince him of some stuff that's totally not true. The number one thing, and I get on Facebook, the number one thing I get on phone calls, the number one thing I get on text messages is, why would a volunteer be against this? Why would a volunteer fireman in Ascension Parish be against this? And it's simple. They think that if this tax passes on Saturday, that the volunteers are going to go away. What we're informing everybody is, look at the numbers. We're not even coming close to getting enough money approved to go full-time 100%. We're going to have 2 paid firemen at each fire station. When those guys roll the engine and roll the tank truck that's required on every structure fire, they're going to be operating the truck. Somebody's got to fight the fire, and that's what the volunteers are going to do. It's a shame, and look, I know this. The reason why this is so passionate to me is because you can't tell me. I'm going on 30 years as a volunteer fireman in this parish, 26 of it as a fire chief. You can't tell me how close and how passionate this is to volunteer firemen. You can go around all you want and try to blame this on the government. This has nothing to do with the government. This is what we need to be able to make Ascension Parish move forward and safely. They're the first ones to jump up when the big $500,000 house burns in Pelican Point. They're the first ones to jump up and say, why didn't the volunteers get here fast enough when that house is burning to the ground? But none of them, not a soul, not one of them on their team belongs to a volunteer fire department. So they have no idea what it takes to get up at 2 o'clock in the morning, put your clothes on, drive to the fire station, get out of your car, get in the fire truck, and drive to Pelican Point. By that time, the fire is already a good 11 to 13 minutes into it, and that's why we need paid firemen. It's working in Prairieville, it's working in Donaldsonville, it's working in Gonzales. It's going to work in Fire District Number 1.
I want to add, Chief, I did receive a phone call this afternoon from your 5th Ward chief.
That's correct. Peter Roblin, 100%
who gave me
endorsement.
100% endorsement of this plan.
That's correct.
And as I come out of Fire District 3, I can tell you that it has made a world of difference in Fire District 3 to have the resources available to do the job. And I'm very hopeful that the people of Fire District 1 will support you in this effort.
Councilwoman Castle, I think that's probably been one of the most disappointing things through this whole entire path that we've been traveling, is this group has been going around this community telling everybody that when the 20 mills passed in the Prairieville community, that they did not better the rating in Prairieville. And they bettered the rating twice, 2 times. Ever since this 20 mil passed in Prairieville, and you've been paying for paid firemen in the Prairieville community, their rating has gotten better twice. But on every one of their flyers, every one of their postcards, every one of their campaigns door to door, every one of their news articles say, Prairieville, you're paying 20 mils, but your rating hasn't bettered at all. That's 100% false information.
Absolutely.
Mr. President.
I just want to stand up here and tell you that I've had the occasion, I'm probably more the exception than the norm, but on 4 occasions, I've had to use the Santa Monica Fire Department, and believe me, they are very, very professional about what they do. Just recently, my son got in a motorcycle accident on Highway 431. They were the first ones there and the last ones to leave, and they do a wonderful job. I'm kind of prejudiced toward the Santa Monica Fire Department because I've been knowing James, but I know Matt, he handles his job well too. But, you know, it's just a matter of time. We have to do this. It's something that needs to be done. The more people that move here, the more services we're going to need. And believe me, if it's going to be your child or your mother or your father or anyone in your family that's laying on the side of a road, nobody can get there because they don't have enough resources, enough people. And, you know, it's going to be tragic when that happens here in Ascension Parish. So, you know, I'm going to ask the people on my own to support this tax. I think it's what we need here in the community. I know they didn't support the road tax, but I'm asking you for this cause to please do look at it and you know, support these firemen. They do it for nothing. They work hard. They go out. I've seen them out at 2 o'clock in the morning. I've been out there and saw what they do. So, and as James said earlier, at some point in time, I can assure you, you're going to need the fire department, and they're going to come to your rescue. It doesn't matter if you vote for this or against it. They're still going to come out because that's the kind of people that they are. They're givers, they're not takers, and they take care of our community, and they've been doing so over the years. So I'm just here to say that I'm proud to support you guys.
Councilman Shakespeare.
Thank you. James, Matt, appreciate it, everyone else. I do want to echo Peter Robin from 5th Ward called me and could not make it tonight. And he wanted to definitely lend his support, and he's been assisting. I want to reemphasize some of the things, James, you had said. I appreciate it. What we're doing is trying to get 2 firefighters in each station just to be able to get out to your house and get out to these cars and these calls as quickly as possible, instead of having volunteers, as you say, leave their house, go to the station, and then go to the event. That 5 minutes, that 10 minutes makes all the difference in the world. That's what we're doing. And then we didn't talk about it a lot, but a fire chief for the district, which is something that everyone else has. Everyone else is going to, you know, a paid fire chief that speaks as one for the district is very important. I know you guys have supported it, and that's one of the things that everybody has said that was a necessary thing to move forward, you know, from where we were. And you know, it opens the ground then for you guys to get back. I want to tell you personally, I appreciate you guys. I know how much time y'all spent to dedicate yourselves to work through this this fire tax. It's been probably 8 years in the making. That's right. And you were willing to stay on as doubling as fire chiefs for your station and doubling as a fire board to do that, to get this passed what the people need, and I appreciate that. And I know you said you were willing after that for anybody to take over the fire board, but you were willing to work hard for the people of the parish. We appreciate it. This cannot be done without volunteers. This is only, you know, I'm gonna look everyone in your eye. All we're doing is trying to assist the volunteer fire people in this parish so that it can free you from the non-essential duties to go out there and either fight the fires or provide service in emergencies. And everything else can be taken care of by these full-time people that can go back after a fire and clean their hoses and clean their trucks, and you can go home and get some sleep so you can go to work the next day. We don't want to burn out our volunteers. We need you. This parish needs you, and we appreciate you. We want everybody to know that. Just to let everybody know some background in EBR, Baton Rouge, between 20 mils and 40 mils at 4 different stations there, their ratings was between 2 and a 3. In St. Tammany, between 28 and 35 mils, their rating is a 3. Livingston Parish, They have 10 mills. Their rating in the districts are 4 and a 5. In Ascension Parish, Prairieville has 20 mills and their rating is a 4. Gonzales has a sales tax, Donaldsonville has a sales tax and general tax, their rating is a 4. And Gonzales has a general and sales tax, their rating is a 2. Right now, Fire District number 1's rating is a 5. It's not the idea so much of it definitely going down right away, but the possibilities with the influx of people and problems we're having is it going up. You have to look at that too because of the funding constrictions that we have. The fire board has gone out and saw the need to continue funding and spending the surplus, which is necessary to provide services. That surplus is going to be gone in a very short period of time. And with the budget we have, it's going to cut back on services. So, you know, please understand that we're on volunteer time right now, on borrowed time. On a personal note, on February 11, 2013, not in Ascension Parish, but my wife was very, very glad that a fire department responded within 5 minutes to a call whenever I had a medical emergency. And it was people that were volunteers and combined with volunteers and paid firemen that came, and they were able to get there as fast as they could because they had somebody manning the trucks that was a paid volunteer, a paid firefighter on duty. So it does make a difference, and when it becomes personal, you'll see how valuable it is. So I also urge you to get out and do a good, do your duty as a citizen, vote. And I'm encouraging you to vote. I'd like you to vote for it. I'm going to support it. If you choose to go over there and get the right information, please call people to find the right information if you've gotten information, because what comes to you in a pamphlet or in the mail is not necessarily true. Remember that. So please be willing to be open-minded enough to call and find out the information and vote your conscience. If you choose to vote against it, this is America. This is what you need to do. And so we appreciate everybody. We appreciate our fire department. Thank you.
Thank you.
So in summary, to the residents of Ascension Parish and to the council, when you go behind that curtain Saturday, do what you think is best for your family. If you can support it, the firefighters really appreciate it. If you can't, we understand. But just know that, as we go through the future of Ascension Parish and we try to get other services endorsed and provided for the community, make sure before you vote that you vote on the facts and not a bunch of people running around and making up some stuff that ain't true. And it would be really, really nice if the other side, every once in a while, would call the firefighters and sit down with them and try to get the facts instead of trying to make their own up. Thank you all so much.
Well said, James. All right, Mr. President, does that conclude your report? Okay. Item number 6 is the consent agenda. Motion to move the consent agenda by Councilman Johnson, second by Councilman Kluwat. Any objection? Consent agenda is adopted. Item number 7 is an introduction of an ordinance for surplus equipment, backhoe number 3487, spray tractor number 3358, and boom tractor number 6610. I'll need a motion to introduce.
Motion to introduce.
Motion by Councilman Kluwat, second by Councilwoman Cazzo. Any objection? Ordinance is introduced. Item number 8 is an ordinance to accept a donation and transfer title pursuant to a cooperative endeavor agreement of certain movable property owned by Galvez Lake Volunteer Fire Department to Ascension Parish Government and Fire Protection District Number 1.
Motion introduced. Second.
Motion introduced by Councilman Johnson and a second by Councilman Lambert. Any objection? Ordinance is introduced. We're passing on 9, 10, and 11. Number 12 is an ordinance to transfer as an even exchange 2 parcels of immovable property by and between the city of Donaldsonville and the parish of Ascension. Mr. Parrington.
Purpose to transfer and even exchange 2 parcels of immovable property by and between the city of Donaldsonville and the parish of Ascension. Whereas the city of Donaldsonville agrees and acknowledges that the designated Tract B shall be solely used for the purpose of constructing a fire station, necessary appurtenance is needed for the operation of fire services for the west bank of Ascension Parish. Whereas the Parish of Ascension agrees and acknowledges that designated Lot 6B shall be used for the purpose of constructing a Department of Public Works facility and other parish office space needed in the West Bank of Ascension Parish. Whereas the City of Donaldsonville agrees that it's the sole responsibility for any sugarcane on Lot 6B and acknowledges that the time is of the essence for the parish to take possession of the property. The City of Donaldsonville agrees to defend, indemnify, and hold harmless the parish for any claims of damages resulting from the removal of sugarcane. Therefore, be it ordained that the Ascension Parish governing authority authorizes the transfer and exchange of 5 parcel tract owned by the City of Donaldsonville to the Parish of Ascension, and a 2.9-acre parcel of property owned by the Parish of Ascension to the City of Donaldsonville, more fully described in Exhibit A attached to and made a report hereof. This ordinance is being adopted in conformity with Section 601 of the Ascension Parish Charter. Transfer of said properties is subject to approval of the Parish Attorney and Donaldsonville City Council. Parish Tommy Martinez, Parish President, is hereby authorized to sign all necessary documents on behalf of the parish, and Mayor Lee R. Sutherland, and is hereby authorized to sign all documents on behalf of the City of Donaldsonville for the transfer of said property. This has already been approved by the City of Donaldsonville. This is the land that they're going to build the fire station on, and we're going to build the DPW on.
So moved.
Motion by Councilman Schexnayder, second by Councilman Joseph to move the ordinance. Actually, we need a public hearing, I'm sorry. We were a little ahead of the game there. I'll need a motion of a public hearing. Is that what that was for?
Public
Perfect. Okay. Anyone wishing to speak, now's your time.
Motion to close public
Motion
hearing.
to close by Councilman Joseph.
Second.
Second by Councilman Johnson. Need a motion to move the ordinance.
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Joseph, second by Councilman Schexnayder. Any
Mr.
discussion, gentlemen?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Councilman Joseph.
Yes, I just want to thank the administration in the City of Donaldsonville working this out. It's been a long process. It's never been easy, but compromise came through, and I want to thank the parish president that we're going to finally have a new DPW building on the West Bank. Those workers really, really deserve that, and the West Bank really deserve a new building. It's the 2013, the time we get moving in the future. Thank you.
Okay, anyone else? Any objection? Hearing none, ordinance is adopted. Let's see, item number 15 is an ordinance to amend an ordinance adopted on September 6, 2012 to acquire a parcel of property and supplemented on November 1st, 2012 to complete the acquisition and sale of parcels of movable property to correct the sale and acquisition price to $366,844,000. Mr. Parrington.
There was a typo in that, so we're just correcting it because it was passed as an ordinance. To amend an ordinance adopted on September 6, 2012 to acquire a parcel of property and supplemented on November 1st, 2012 to complete the acquisition of sale of parcels of movable property to correct said sale and acquisition prices at $366,844. Whereas the Parish of Ascension through the Parish Council under lawful session passed an ordinance on the 6th day of September 2012 to acquire a parcel of property and supplement the ordinance on November 1st, 2012 to complete the acquisition and sale of 2 parcels of movable property more fully described in Exhibit A attached to and made a part hereof. Whereas the original sale stated the price was $368,844 for 1 parcel of movable property, and supplemental added the 2nd parcel of property. However, due to typographical error, the stated total price for the sale and acquisition was then stated at $346,257. Be it ordained that the Ascension Parish Government Authority does hereby authorize the sale and acquisitions of 2 parcels of movable property for the price of $366,844. This ordinance is being adopted in conformity with Section 601 of the Ascension Parish Charter. Purchase of property subject to the approval of the parish attorney and seller being able to deliver the merchant of the title, and authorize Tommy Martin as parish president, hereby authorized to sign all necessary documents on behalf of the parish for the purchase of the property.
Motion open.
Motion open public hearing by Councilman Kluwat, second by Councilwoman Cazzo.
That was Councilman Lambert.
Sorry, Councilman Lambert. I need a motion to close.
So moved.
Motion to close by Councilman Johnson.
Second.
Second by Councilman Kluwat. Need a motion to move the ordinance.
So moved.
Motion by Councilman Johnson.
Second.
Second by Councilman Kluwat. Any discussion? Any objection? Ordinance is adopted. 18 is an ordinance to declare surplus and authorize the sale and/or transfer of miscellaneous movable equipment, 2 international dump trucks that are surplus equipment and are no longer needed by the parish, 1 HTSCA BR4YH 244879 to be transferred to Town of Sorrento, and 1 HTSC ABR 0YH 244877 to be auctioned. Mr. Parrington?
Yes. To declare surplus and authorize the sale and transfer of miscellaneous movable property, whereas the Parish of Ascension owns 2 2000 international dump trucks that are surplus equipment are no longer needed by the parish. Whereas it be ordained, the Ascension Parish Council as the governing authority in and for the parish of Ascension does hereby authorize the sale and conveyance and transfer of all right, title, and interest in one 2000 International dump truck bearing vehicle identification number 1HTSCABR4YH244879 to the parish of Ascension as is and without warranty of any kind for the terms and conditions set forth in the intergovernmental agreement attached hereto and made a part hereof. Whereas be it further ordained that the Ascension Parish Council as the governing authority in and for the parish of Ascension does hereby authorize the sale, conveyance, and transfer of any right, title, and interest in one 2000 International dump truck bearing vehicle identification number 1HTSCABROY24877 at auction as is and without warranty of any kind. In the event any portion of the ordinance is held to be invalid or unconstitutional for any reason by any court of competent jurisdiction, such portion shall be deemed separate and distinct and independent provisions that do not affect the validity of the remaining portions of the ordinance.
A motion to open the public hearing.
Motion open public hearing.
Motion by Councilman Johnson, second by Councilman Kluwat.
Motion to close.
Motion to close by Councilman Johnson,
Second.
second by Councilwoman Cazzo. Need a motion to move the ordinance.
Motion to move the ordinance.
Motion by Councilman Schexnayder,
Second.
second by Councilman Kluwat. Any discussion?
Yes.
Councilman Schexnayder.
I just want to thank the administration and the rest of the council members on behalf of the people in Sorrento for the use, now to be able to use the dump truck that was surplus. It is well needed in the town and will be put to good use, and so everyone appreciates that opportunity.
Okay, anyone else? Is there any objection to the ordinance? Hearing none, ordinance is adopted. Item number 21 was the executive session for an employee termination appeal. Mr. Parrington?
It appears the employee has not appeared. I would move that you dismiss the appeal. I would suggest you move to dismiss the appeal.
Okay.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Motion by Councilman Johnson to dismiss the appeal and a second by Councilman Kluwat. Any objection? Hearing none, that motion passes. Sergeant Denby, thank you for staying with us tonight. Appreciate that. I'll need a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
Second motion to adjourn by Councilman Lambert and a second by Councilman Johnson. We are adjourned.